Now, do you like the idea of being used as a pawn because the state legislature can't get its act together? You think people should make less money because they can't make a decision? California's budget crisis is so bad, the governor wants to reduce some state workers' pay to minimum wage. He's saying until we get the budget fixed, they should make minimum wage. He's done it before. In 2008, he paid state workers $6.55 an hour. Till they fix the budget, minimum wage for state workers. As you can imagine, the unions hate it. Ruth, how do you feel about it?
Well, the unions hate everything, but I want to know who these state workers are. Now, does this mean the mayor is going to go on minimum wage? The state legislatures are going on a minimum wage? Does it mean Schwarzenegger's getting a minimum wage? Because if so, I am all for it. I want to know if I want this to start from the top and work down, not from the bottom and work up. Because I've done a bunch of reading about these state workers, and I still don't know exactly who that is. Is it janitors? Is it the school board administrators? I would love to see all the legislatures. Sorry, Jack. I'd love to see the legislators getting minimum wage for a while. And anybody who's responsible for constructing that budget needs to be on minimum wage because they are doing a terrible job.
Jack, should the people pay because they can't get their act together in Sacramento?
Well, look, at this stage, it's political gimmickry because Governor Schwarzenegger, when he started in office, could bring Democrats and Republicans along with his proposals. Now we can't bring anyone along. So he's reduced to bumper sticker government. Meanwhile, we have partisan gridlock in the legislature because we have these onerous requirements for a two-thirds supermajority to pass any budget. What we need in this state is a simple majority budget rule, like they have in most states in the United States, like you have in most legislatures, like you have in most families, majority rules. We don't have that in the state of California. We have gridlock every year, and we have posturing. So this is one posture that the governor has put out. The Democrats will respond with another, the Republicans with a third. Until we fix the rules of the road, all we're going to get is posturing.
Ruth, you want the final word on this?
I agree on that this is just gimmickry and it'll never happen. And it's something that Schwarzenegger's using for shock value to try and wake people up. But the problem is that it won't wake people up. And I still need to know who's going to get paid minimum wage, starting with Villaraigosa and the rest of the legislators.
All right. Final topic here. And this is a story everybody is talking about. Supreme Court's decision to allow corporations to spend as much money as they want on federal elections. By a 5-4 vote, the court ruled corporations have the same First Amendment rights as individuals, and for that reason, the government may not stop corporations from spending freely to influence the outcome of federal elections. It can't give it directly to a candidate, but a corporation or union could buy ads or billboards calling for the defeat of one candidate and the election of another. In California, corporations and unions are already allowed to take part in state and local elections. Nationally, it's a whole new ballgame. Jack, as a guy who sat on the LA City Council, what do you think? Good idea? Bad idea?
Well, it's a matter of constitutional law. It's not a matter of what's a good idea or a bad idea. But what's important to understand here is that it almost doesn't matter anymore what the campaign finance laws say. If you are an individual or a corporation or a union or an entity with a lot of money and you want to influence an election, you can. It's very easy to get around these rules simply by not expressing the election or defeat of a candidate. So if you run an ad that says, vote against Ruth Waytz, that may come under campaign finance scrutiny. If you run an ad that says, we have serious questions about Ruth Waytz' record on the environment, and just leave the conclusion blank, interestingly enough, you're not expressing advocacy in an election, and you're not subject to regulation. So it almost doesn't matter what rulings come down. Big money will get around it and will get into the elections.
Ruth, before you jump in, Jack, as a member of the city council, what did you encounter in that way? Against you or for you?
Oh, when I ran for Los Angeles city attorney, the Los Angeles Police Union spent $1 million against me. There's nothing you can do about that. They had a position. They didn't want me to be elected for their own presumably selfish reasons, and they spent $1 million out of their treasury. People are always going to big money. People with big money are always going to want to throw it around in elections. The most important thing you can do is to cast sunlight on all this. The rest is commentary.
Ruth, we've got about 30 seconds here. Go ahead, make your point.
Well, I have to agree with Jack on this, that money is money and that there's always ways around all these laws. It's been a very strange trip trying to figure out what this is even about, because it started off being about a movie about Hillary Clinton, and now it's about our corporations, people, and who's got rights and what's free speech and all that. And, one of the other things that we have to consider here in California, and Southern California in particular, is the immense personal wealth of individuals here. It's not a few celebrities could get together $30 or $40 million. I mean, you're worried about a corporation getting together $20 or $30 million. It's a complicated issue, and I agree with Jack that money is always going to find a way to spend itself.
Seems it works that way. All right, Ruth, Jack, well done. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, you too, Fred.
Okay.